Hey guys, welcome back to Becoming Soulful. We are bringing in a lot of interesting and purposeful women guests here to share their best practices, to share their soulful activities to inspire us and help us to get into our soulful activities as well. Today, I have yet another very, very interesting person, a friend of mine, one of my inspiration. Her name is Dr. Shambhavi Rajgopal. There's a lot of things to talk about her, but I'm going to tell you three lines about her, and I'm going to request her to introduce herself. So Dr. Shambhavi is an academician, consultant, and an entrepreneur. She has an organization called Shambhavi Spectrum that includes Save, Scrap, and Sue a Gift. And her one-line motto is, efficiency is more important than perfection. I request Dr. Shambhavi to come on camera, please. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so very much for having me.
Namaste, namaskar, vanakkam.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. And I think if that's one thing which we are going to take away from the pandemic is continuing to say the namaste instead of any other thing. We were always there, right?
Rightly said. Rightly said. Yes. But I am so glad that we are bringing back this culture. I'm so glad. So unique. And I always have enjoyed whenever our ministers, chief minister, prime ministers, or presidents go to other countries and they use this. I feel so proud and I feel very nice. So Shambhavi, the first question to you will be, I read about you a lot and I was so fascinated with your work, which is called Save, Scrap, and Sue a Gift. I want you to introduce yourself, saying who are you, where are you from, and what is this Sue a Gift?
Right. So thank you very much for having me here, and thanks to all your audience who is going to be listening to me, and everybody is welcome to connect with me, which I'm sure Vimala will share the LinkedIn connects and all my other handles also. Let me go a few steps back and say that I'm an army daughter. I've studied in like 13 schools for 12 years, and which meant my father was in the infantry. We were traveling. So life was a constant journey. I have absolutely nothing but happy memories of my childhood, of traveling, meeting new friends, living in new places, having new experiences, and it was always on the go. So it was a fun life. And why I'm saying this now, when people wonder so much about, transitions are traumatic or, there's so much of talk around it. I want this to be known that it can be a happy experience. And then again, when your parents' job depends on it, you don't really have much choice on that. Having said that, at some point when my father could, he put us in a hostel, which again, I think was a great experience for us because living in a hostel teaches you so many things, mainly being tolerance. And I got married in 1988. I came to Dubai in 1989. And since then, I live with my husband and family here in Dubai. It's 30 plus years now here. So I'd done my master's in chemistry from Indore, Devi Ahilya Vishwavidyalaya. And when I moved here, there wasn't any suitable job at that particular time, and I needed to take a job. So I just took up market research and selling space, which again, I should talk in some other forum about it, about how difficult or how much fun it was, both ways. From there on, so it was 13 years of market research, and I wanted to get a degree or, qualify myself so that there is something attached to it, and there was no specific course available. My sister, in the meantime, who was actually an academician from the very beginning, she suggested to me that why don't I do my MBA? So stats and accounting were my nemesis. I was always so scared of it. And she said, it's okay, you will get through it. So after a break of 18 years, I went back to doing my MBA. And I want to emphasize this here that this was possible only because of family support. And we should never fear ourselves that we can't do it. I mean, honestly, once you're at that particular stage and age in life, all you want to do is learn. It's not about grades or marks or trying to compete with your peer group at all. It's just what you do for yourself. which is exactly what I did. And after my MBA, immediately I started teaching, thanks to my faculty who recommended me as a faculty suitable candidate to universities. I immediately got a job, and I started doing adjunct faculty. And now it's been 14 years of being an adjunct faculty at various universities, teaching marketing and management. Somewhere around 2008, 2009, I realized that the way forward would be a PhD, because everybody wanted that qualification. And I used to think, really, does PhD make me a better teacher? But now, on hindsight, I would say that it was not just about being a better teacher, it was about the research component of it. And that is where I'm coming to now is my research was on evaluative criteria used by consumers for purchasing fruits and vegetables. Most people, when they would hear it, especially seniors or something, they would just smirk and they'll say, what is there in fruits and vegetables? But when you consider that I live in a country where we have 200 nationalities, there's absolutely no seasonality for fruits and vegetables. And when you say fresh, that is usually 3 to 5 days old. When we say we are getting something fresh, it has to come from somewhere, right? So with this concept in mind, I started my research. And one component of that was waste of fruits and vegetables, which, as you know, in at least in rural part of India, we feed the cattle whatever the waste comes out, or you put it into a pit whereby it becomes a organic compost and a fertilizer, which is very natural. Now in urban India, I would still say that there are some cities who are taking major efforts into it, like Bangalore and Indore. I'm from Indore as such. Indore, which is like now the cleanest city, and for last 5 years. So they've been more conscious and conscientious about this composting and using the fruit and vegetable waste. In UAE, there wasn't much of a opportunity at that time. Now we are way ahead now. So 2015 June, I have a tailor who I usually go to and just visit to get some clothes done. And I see him stepping out of the shop with 2 bags, 2 black big bags. And I asked him, what is this? So he said, it's fabric, it's cloth. I said, Kya kar rahe ho? What are you doing to it? So he said, I'm just going to throw it out. I said, why are you throwing it? I mean, it was such a shock to me that he was going to throw it out. And he said, aur kya karu? Aapko chahiye? And I just stepped back physically, because I mean, why would I want anybody else's cloth or fabric? And there's no ownership at all in that. And then I realized that not only me, even he doesn't have ownership, and he's going to just throw it out. Plus, the tailoring shops, they are very small in size. There's hardly any place. I always wonder, how do they take out what our orders are, the way they dig into it. So from there, I got this thought in mind that I cannot save the fruit, vegetable, food waste from the landfill, but we can try to save the fabric. And I knew it was not going to be a single task. I came back home, I told my family, and everybody's like, yeah, Shambavi's always got these ideas. And they're like, okay, go ahead, we are with you. It took me another 2 months. And that's when I used the power of social media. And I created a WhatsApp message and I put it into a group in my building group, as well as to all the friends that I had, saying that I want to save scrap. And I knew sewing, it was a hobby. And in fact, when I finished my PhD, I gifted myself a high-end embroidery machine. I didn't want anything else. I said, I just want to go for something which, so making gifts, sewing-based gifts was a big passion for me. And I wanted to up my game by getting embroidery incorporated into it. So with that in mind, but again, so we came back to certain basics. So the first Wednesday, 30th September 2015, I have about 5-6 of ladies who I call buddies, and they came over to my place, and we were just sorting. And you have to trust to believe that for 2 hours I was only ironing. In fact, the first 2 weeks I was just only ironing, because all the cloth was just kind of crumpled and put inside different types of fabric. And then slowly we started sorting it out, cutting it into some kind of sizes, and we started putting it out, stitching it together. Now, with my marketing background, what I did was I created a Facebook page on the same day, and I started recording what we were doing at that particular time, that this is what our aim is, to save the landfill. And so from there to now, it's 6.5 years, more than 500 buddies who actively work. more than 1,000, 2,000 people who've gone through the program, my 3,000 plus likes on the Facebook page. I have an Instagram handle. I have about 15, 20 admins who are taking care of the Facebook page. And while the pandemic was a deterrent on teamwork, but still some work continued by people, individuals themselves who found some kind of solace into stitching. So I must tell you at this point that we do not stitch dresses and things like that. What we do is only things of utility, which is sheets, bags, and small pillows, which are used here by construction workers and used in India by hospitals, cancer wards, or anywhere where the pillow is not just a pillow, it gives a little bit of an emotional support to the person who may be taking an IV for a very long time, or who may need some just, lifting the leg up or a hand up, or just as a support, but it becomes a kind of an emotional bond as well. And that is the story of having saved more than 7.5 tons of scrap from the landfill. That is Save Scrap and Sew.
Beautiful.
And next comes the Sew a Gift. So I had two buddies I had many buddies. Two of them we were like-minded, and we decided, like I said, I already had a passion towards embroidery and sewing gifts. They were also of a similar mindset. And I said one day, why don't we start what I do for my friends? Why don't we do it as a business? Because and believe me, my sister and some of my closest friends are my biggest customers, because they cannot ask me as a favor to do something for them. But if they're paying for it, that is justified. So with that in mind, we registered a small company here. We also have a small company in India. We make individual pieces of customized gifts. Let's say you have, your daughter is graduating, or your sister has achieved some kind of a thing, which you cannot find anything in the market to say that. So you can give us the coats, sometimes it's the fabric, sometimes it's the design, which we all put together in complete collaboration with the customer. And our mission is to keep gifting affordable. So we also price it within the budget of what the customer wants. And we have a separate website. We have a Insta handle, Facebook page, and everything. And this started sometime in November 2016. And since then, we've been going. So we're not very big. I wouldn't say that we're like, commercial, we're available everywhere and things like that. But yes, this is a concept which I would definitely like to scale up at some particular point. Beautiful. So that is Save Scrap Sew and Sew a Gift.
Sew a Gift. Okay. So do you have a physical shop?
No, we don't.
So people have to order, then you make it.
Yes, because we have realized that when we keep inventory, nobody buys from us.
Correct.
When you know that you can add one V into it, or you can add one VR onto it, nobody wants to then, like if you wanted something, you can just add one alphabet and it becomes more personal. Nobody then wants to really buy. We keep thinking about it. We keep debating whether we should have some standardized products and, have said, maybe in the future, let's see.
Do you suggest the design for the Sew a Gift, or they come up with the design?
It depends for Sew a Gift, like if a person, like the latest one which we've done right now, which is just going to be handed over today, is somebody's friend is a Kathak dancer. She is into hiking, entering her 40s. So she wanted some coat out there, which she suggested, and we kind of moved out with it. And sometimes we buy designs ready-made, which you get on various sites, which you can buy and which you can kind of embroider. And this is machine embroidery, computerized machine embroidery that I'm talking about. Or what we do is we also digitize design. So right now I have two partners in this, like I said, Anita and Geeta. Geeta's in India, in Mumbai. Anita's here. When we started, we were all together in the same place. And so Anita digitized the Kathak dancer, and she also digitized a hiking person who's hiking. And we've put it together, and we're just going to give it it'll be a surprise for the person. It's a mug rug. Mug rug is a typical thing which you keep right next to your computer, so you can keep your chai or food, and it doesn't spill all over the place. That is a mug rug, and this was completely within the budget of the customer. And like I said, we always start with what is your budget and what's your deadline, and then what's your budget.
Okay, perfect. I want to ask one question regarding the pillows for cancer patients or the hospitals, what you provide. So is it purely the cloth material, or you stuff something inside?
Yes. So I want to make this very clear that this is Sew a Gift and Save Scrap Sew are two different entities.
Understood.
Now in Save Scrap and Sew, we do not sell anything.
No,
I believe that
beautiful.
there is no, there is no ownership. The tailor does not have ownership, so he throws it away. But I don't know how comfortable people would be if you knew that your tailor is giving it to somebody who is further going to make something out of it and sell it. Okay, so I maybe if your dress is a little tight, you would wonder, did he cut more? Is he getting some money out of this? No, with
Mm.
that kind of a thing, it's somewhere very, very fine line of which we cannot differentiate. So anything which we do in Save Scrap and Sew comes only from the tailor, and everything is given away as gift to people. Again, when I say gift to people, it is not people who can afford. It is more for people who do not have another one in their cupboard. There's no cupboard. Very honestly, there's no cupboard. There's no alternate to it. So whether it's the bags which is given to school children who are maybe they are in the municipality school, their education could be free. They might be taking their books in a polythene bag, or it could be the bags could be given to an old age home where they just have, some common shelf space so they can keep their clothes in a bag. It can be anywhere. The decision who to give is taken by the buddies themselves. Anybody can decide and say, okay, I've identified this place. But the ethos behind it is they should not have an alternate one. Aaj Sunday ko ye le lete hain, aaj Monday ko wo le lete hain. Not that kind. We stick to that. So now coming back to your question of the pillows, the pillow actually started as a concept like this, that we had these very small scraps which you could not do anything to, and you would have to invariably throw it out only. And that is when I started the session, I said, okay, let's make a pillow. And that time it was a little longish pillow, and we stuffed it with the small scrap and stitched it up. The problem with having a very big pillow and very thick is that you cannot wash it. It will not dry from inside. However, we do some of those for animal rescue centers, which they can use, because when they have these rescues come in, they need some space and they want the animals to be lifted from the ground just a little bit. So we do that. It's not that we don't, but then after that, we know that after that is used, it will be disposed of again. Whereas now with these smaller pillows that we have, we try to keep it in a specific size, especially the ones which are for construction workers are just 8 by 11. Because in UAE, what they do is they have midday break from June 15th to September 15th, and 2 hours they sleep on the site itself. So it was meant to be a small pillow, just for not more than 400 to 500 grams, and which one could wash if required. And you could carry it along with your tiffin. They usually carry their tiffin to the site, so they could just carry it along with the tiffin. And one of the initial stages when we were still experimenting with the sizes, I remember writing a very long post on Facebook saying that we've made these pillows. We don't know who it's going to give support to. Is it going to be, with a child somewhere, or is it going to be in an old age home? And a very emotional kind of a post. And I said, let's call these support pillows. And then eventually a friend traveled to Mumbai and she carried 5-6 of these pillows, and she went actually to a place in Mumbai, which is like a resident area, sleep area for children who are on the street. They come and sleep here in the night. And that organization is called Support something. So it was, yeah, exactly. It was like, there was some divine intervention is what I can say.
Yeah, beautiful, divine intervention, yes. I'm curious to ask you one question. How is your family supporting? Because this is a channel which will inspire women to convert their idea into action. This is a small idea which you had. How was your family support, and what is your suggestion for women who has a lot of brilliant ideas, but they are stuck, they are unable to, get into action?
So I've been very lucky with my family supporting this completely from the beginning. I live with my in-laws, my children, whether it is my husband so they know that I do workshops, I go out. Our house is always like people are coming and going. Even if I'm not in the country, people would drop off things, people would take things. So even my helper at home, they know that this activity is going on. And the best part of it, Vrinda, because we really don't know who it reaches out to at the end of the day. Here I give it to the Red Crescent and the Red Crescent gives it to whoever. We have no idea. And because we are not selling, there is no conflict of interest with any amongst the buddies also. Okay, because if we were selling and then the money, then which charity do you give to? That would be a conflict of it. So there's absolutely nothing of that sort. So my family from the very beginning has supported me. They might have wondered in the beginning what is going to happen, how is it going to come along, but I would say that the pieces just kept coming together by itself. And some of the things which I stuck to from the beginning. And this I say to all the buddies who are working with me and who want to become potential buddies is our requirement is only once a week, 2 hours consistently. That's it. The second thing is, if you cannot cope with the scrap in your house, do not take the scrap. See, we cannot have a house full of scrap. Mine is, by the way, many areas in my house has got scrap in it. But I cannot and I should not expect people that they will fill their house with scrap or their house is a mess. So that is when it starts interfering into the family life and stuff, when that becomes your main focus. Our focus still is our family and everything. And this we are doing in the side to help a society be a part of a community, saving the landfill and helping people who are involved in it. And on that note, it has become a family activity for many of my buddies who, like, they started, their children started, because I have a teen buddies program. They joined with their children and they did. Then the parents also got involved into it. The father got involved into it. They had a machine. And the grandmothers, when they come visiting, or when these people, when they know that they can do, so they also feel useful, if nothing, keeping things aside. So my oldest buddy is 85 years old and the youngest one is 3.
Oh my God.
And one very important thing which I would like to say at this point is, I've had many buddies come and go through the program. Like, they've been with us and then they've gone away. And I never grudge them that they are not working anymore with us. The point was, there is some, like a time when you can do something. And then when you can't do something, I don't feel bad about it, because I'm grateful that they are aware of it. They still pass on the message. They still follow the page. They still talk about it in, as a table topic or conversation. And they are proud to have been a buddy, which is what I really want, for them to think that they did something for society on their own without knowing who the beneficiary was.
Beautiful. So you had a very lucky family. What would you suggest for families which would not support a woman, but she has a brilliant idea, she wants to get things into action? What would you suggest to such women?
So one of the things which I would say, which has worked very well for me, is transparency. In trying to tell people that this is what I would like to do, this is what I want to do, asking their opinion, asking your family around you, what do you think about it? And going one step at a time. And if they have some misgivings about the idea, be open-minded to understand what the misgivings are. So that one thing I'll say is, people who are really interested in you and your growth are the ones who are actually going to comment on it. The others are just going to say, oh, great idea, well done. So if you think in your mind that, okay, my spouse or my mother-in-law or my father-in-law, they have this in their mind and they have their own misgivings about it, then ask them what they are and try to see if you can solve it. So I have many times sessions where people, like, for example, if they come and my father-in-law at one point was quite unwell and he was unable. So he would be in his room and we would keep things down, quiet at that time. So we would talk a little slowly, and so that it's not. So he also didn't mind about it. So it was nice. And if people saw him, they would wish him and talk to him. If they didn't, that was okay. So because I cannot expect that everything will be the day it is. And then sometimes when things take priority, when family takes priority, though consistency was my key, when family takes priority, when we have outings, when we have to go, we have some puja or we have anything, then family took priority. So honestly, at one point, I remember putting up these posts saying that try to find some time for the landfill also, for our nature also. And then there was a point when I said, okay, please give time to your family. It's okay. But then it's invariably the ladies would work around at the time in their homes when the husbands were out. Either they were in the gym or they were in the office or they were coming late back from work. And the ladies wanted some outlet. So doing something fruitful rather than anything else, it gave them pleasure. That's all. And then I would say to the spouse and to the family, the woman in the house does so many things for you. So if this is that one thing which gives her happiness, one can adjust and accommodate. It's a family for that reason, isn't it?
Can you repeat this? Can you elaborate this? I feel like whistling. I feel like whistling. Can you elaborate this?
So I'll say now, like whether it's my son or whether it's my daughter, they know that if I have to go for a workshop and I'm going to talk about this, they are very supportive about it and they don't mind. And I also make sure that it doesn't intrude into their time. So if my son is visiting me, then I would also in that particular week say, okay, this week we'll take a break because I have visitors. Or even when I have guests from outside, living in Dubai, I have a lot of guests from outside. So I also keep this in mind that I should not push people so much that then I'm not able to, and then it becomes an emotional thing that no, this is going to be there. The scrap is going to be there always. There'll be never a zero scrap day. But my relationships at that particular point are important as each day goes by. And then you'll be surprised to see how the family or friends, they themselves accommodate and say, no, Shambhavi, Saturday is your day. We'll meet you a little later, or let's meet for breakfast. It's like that. People start understanding. And you know very well, during the whole pandemic, people have been saying, what's your purpose? What's your purpose in life? Find a purpose in life. So maybe my purpose in life is this, which has come to me automatically. And maybe your purpose in life is to let people do what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm speechless now. Okay. I want to ask you, what is freedom for women according to you?
I think freedom for women is first, it starts from having self-belief and being transparent. If you have hidden agendas in your mind, or you start a conversation with a doubt. So I'm very openly saying this. I've been married for 33 plus years. And out of that 18, 19 years, my mother-in-law and father-in-law have lived with me. I have a very open relationship with my in-laws. But from day one, Vimala, it was always that I am going to speak my mind. They like it, they don't like it, fine. But at the time when they needed, I have always been there for them. So for my mother-in-law and father-in-law, it was always a big thing. My father-in-law is no more, God bless his soul. But it was always that when you need something, they knew who to call and who to. So it was not that we are, we are looking in two different directions. And I want this to be very clear that it was never that we agreed on the same points. There were disagreements, but we took it beyond that. And like I said, I would wonder, why are you saying this? Tell me more. Tell me, why are you saying this? And then I would say, no, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Or, okay. And then one of the things which I learned very importantly, though it was for a KG kindergarten graduation of my niece, is don't steal their struggle for the children. And I believe if they have to struggle, only then they will come through that, like how the butterfly cocoon, the cocoon has to come, the caterpillar has to come out from the cocoon with struggles. Only then it becomes a beautiful butterfly. So let everybody take their own path. If I'm struggling, and I would tell my mother-in-law, I said, it's okay, let me work this out. Let me find out for myself and say, so it didn't happen. And so I would say, be transparent. Don't think that, no, it'll start with a no. No, it's not necessary. Because when you think that, you pass those vibes on, your aura is that, you're defensive, your voice is, kind of all emotional. Start with, this is what I want to do. And I do believe that we are in a progressive society. And I should at this point speak about my mother, who is, though she was an army officer's wife. She did her graduation after she had me as a small baby. Then she did her master's, her first master's when I was in school. She did her B.Ed when I was in college. And then she started working for no salary at the age of 45 as a teacher. And she went on to become a principal of a school. So I think that, there is no specific time that now I have to do everything right now. Just prioritize yourself and wait to see what you're doing. And it's okay. There is time. A time will come for everything.
Shambhavi, if I give you last 90 seconds, what will be that one suggestion on intentions of purpose? Because we are all stuck with family, and then beyond that, we keep on asking, what is your purpose? Find your purpose. How to help women to find their purpose beyond their family?
So I would say always that keep, my thing always, which has worked for me and which I would say is, keep in touch with your friends, with your spouse also. Friendship should be the basis of everything. And see, when you start off a relationship, when you get married, everybody wants to put on their best. But that putting on their best does not mean that you have to accommodate everything. Saying that I'm doing this for you is fine. And If you have a dream, if you think about it, and if you keep following, reading upon that, talking about it, looking for it, it will happen when we don't know. So I think 50 plus was very liberating for me in the sense that I could actually, most people even yesterday I was in a situation where people said, it's so late in life you decided to become an entrepreneur. I said, yes, because that came to me at that time that, yes, now I can do. And today I'm grateful to God, my children are studying and they are not here with me. So I have a little bit more time to devote to this. Or watch any, it's my time is my own and I do everything. I follow all hobbies. There's no one thing which you become so crazy about that everybody is, okay, don't talk to her about it. Like for Save Scrap and so also, I never start a conversation in any gathering about this only. That is my purpose. That doesn't have to be everybody's. If people ask, I talk. But it's not like, trying to escape. So for all women out there, I would say is believe in yourself. The first thing is believe that, yes, you can do. And then be ready to listen to people. And if you think of them as your friends, your well-wishers, you will be open-minded. And if you fail in that, it's okay. It's all right. And even if people say, I told you so, that's also okay. At least they are happy with themselves that they told you so that you will.
One word for the husbands.
Friendship.
Meaning?
Your basis, your premises of a relationship should be friendship. How would you be with a friend? You would share your worries. You would share your happiness. Friendship is important. It should be built on friendship.
One word for in-laws.
Respect. They brought up your husband and they made a good man out of him. They took you into the family, knowing that whether because you were his choice or whether you were their choice, they gave you that space in their family, respect, and everything else will come along the way.
One message for in-laws.
Mutual respect, love, transparency, share your fears. I'm going to be a mother-in-law very soon. I'm at that age where my kids are ready to, get a companion. So I would say transparency.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shambhavi. Enjoyed thoroughly. It was like overflowing, like a flood of information and best suggestions and practices. I'm so thrilled to listen what all you have done and converted that small little idea into a huge purpose, mission, and message. And you are one of my role models, and I follow you in LinkedIn with all your activities. I'm going to put all the details in your description, in my description box. And if we both inspire one woman, if we both can inspire one family, our job is done. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me, for having me here. I'm very honored, and namaste.
Thank you. So it's not for number of views, it is for inspiring one family. That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Yeah. So that's Dr. Shambhavi. We heard a lot about how we can convert our a small idea into a message and convert that into a mission and take it forward and have mutual respect. So quickly, if I have to summarize what all I learned from her, it is if you have an idea, take action on it. Husband and wife have to be like friends. And if you are a daughter-in-law, respect your in-laws because they have brought up your husband. And if you are an in-law, again, mutual love and mutual respect. Thanks for watching this show. I think if this interview has inspired one woman, one family, one husband, and conveyed a message to mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, that every woman is having some ambition and we all can work together. We can be like Dr. Shambhavi's family, inspired and do things to make this world a better place to live. Thanks. I'm Vimala Rane signing off from Becoming Soulful. Bye. I'll bring in yet another beautiful person to share their best practices and ideas how to become very soulful. Thank you. Bye.